Here's my new extruder direct drive. You can see it easily pushes the 3mm back and forth, and it's on an extremely skinny stepper, which is awesome. Got a small skate bearing in there in between the hobbed bolt from a maker gear hot end or maker bot, and this has a lot of tension on there. And the cool thing is that it can do 3mm or 1.75mm filament easily without changing anything except for the size of the peak or the PTFE in the hot end. And this is the one I have fully assembled over here. So there it is with the part of a Buddha nozzle hot end connected with this aluminum to a heat sink. I'll put a fan on to keep the motor cool. I pulled the spring out of this one temporarily. This one I just had a little Delrin round bearing, but I put a skate bearing in the other one. And then I've got this aluminum around the that peak or PTFE insert that the filament goes into and drives right out the extruder tip. Now, this motor is not that torquey, but it has plenty of power to push the filament through the hot end and extrude. It just doesn't have enough power to also pull the filament off a roll when there's other tension. So to solve that, I'm building this filament pusher, which will basically have a Bowden cable that the filament comes through, and it will have a little rocker limit switch in here and one of these little DC gear motors, right? And then there'll be a Bowden cable coming off of here going in that the filament goes through, going into the hot end, right? And as this thing is pushing down, as it's extruding, this will, it will be down and it will start to come up as it pulls more filament through that Bowden tube, which will unset the rocker switch, will turn on the gear motor, which will feed more, which will compress this back down and turn off the gear motor. So it will keep it completely fed. So all this motor has to do is push through the hot end, and this other part pushes the filament off the roll to this extruder. And so then, this extruder here is going to be very, very lightweight. And also the way it mounts, the nozzle only comes down a few millimeters below the X carriage. So on my Prussia, it's going to give me another 25 millimeters of Z height as an added bonus. Rockin'.